Morayo stood at the altar of Eco-Atlantic's finest wedding hall, her hands trembling inside her borrowed ivory gloves. The crowd shimmered in gold jewel and agbadas, but none of them looked at her with warmth. Teo didn't hold her hand. He hadn't even looked her in the eye since they arrived. At the far end of the hall, near the giant floral arch, stood, say, her younger brother, in a clean, faded shirt. He smiled weakly, waving. He was the only family she had left. Their parents had died in an Oshodi fire 5 years ago. Morayo had done everything since. Washed clothes, sold puff-puff, swallowed pride, just to raise him. But even now, Teo had warned, if that boy enters this hole, I'll walk out. So Say stayed outside the gates, and Morayo stayed quiet. Do you take this man? The priest asked. I do, she whispered. But what she meant was, I'm scared. The reception was grand. Champagne towers, violinists, influencers taking selfies, but Morayo sat beside her new husband like a forgotten shadow. Teo's friend joked about village girls catching lucky breaks. Mama Ireti, his mother, clapped and laughed like she wasn't talking about her new daughter-in-law. Later that night, in their Banana Island mansion, Teo unbuttoned his shirt and scoffed. You looked stiff today. I was nervous, Morayo replied. Nervous or ashamed, he spat. You should be grateful. She looked at the white marble floor, nodded. Thank you. And just like that, the door to her new life shut quietly, with gold trimmings and a lock made of silence. Morayo swept the marble floors of the Banana Island mansion, though housekeepers hovered nearby. Teo never asked her to clean, but he also never told her to stop. She tried to earn her place in silence. Mama Ireti never called her by name. Only that girl. When guests came, the older woman would smile wide and whisper loud enough for Morayo to hear, My son should have married Senator Okoro's daughter. This one, she's too ordinary. Fred and Tina, Teo's friends, visited often. They sipped red wine and pointed at Morayo like museum art. Bro, was this a charity case? Tina giggled. Teo only laughed. Morayo served them tea with a smile that barely held. One evening, she spotted Say outside the gate. He stood with a nylon bag, sweat on his forehead, hope in his eyes. She rushed down from the balcony, heart racing, but the guard blocked her. Olga say no visitors. Madam. She begged. Please. Here's my brother. The guard sighed. I'm sorry. Olga's orders. Teo didn't even come downstairs. He just sent a message. If he steps in, he sleeps on the street tonight. Morayo stood at the gate, tears in her eyes, whispering, I'm sorry. Say nodded. It's okay, sis. I just wanted to see you. Back inside, she found Teo polishing his wristwatch. Why do you always bring shame to me? She fell to her knees. I'm sorry. For what? I don't know, but I know you're upset. He scoffed and turned off the lights. That night, she lay beside a man who held her body but never her heart. In a bed bigger than her childhood room, Morayo stared at the ceiling and wondered, when did I stop feeling like someone worth holding? That Thursday morning, Morayo wore a plain peach gown and packed Teo's lunchbox. As usual, he didn't thank her. He glanced at her and said, A guest is coming tonight. Don't embarrass me. And wear something decent. You look like a market cleaner. Evening came. The doorbell rang. Chief Marcus, Teo's business partner, stepped into the marble-floored living room. He smiled kindly at Morayo. Good evening, sir, she said softly. Teo strolled in, waving dismissively. Oh, that's Ruth. My maid. Marcus paused. She's beautiful. Teo snorted. Don't be fooled. She's local. Can't even speak proper English. Morayo's chest tightened. She forced a smile and slipped into the kitchen. Behind the pantry door, she leaned against the wall, holding back sobs. Later that night, she stood in their bedroom doorway. Her voice trembled, but her words were steady. Teo, why did you call me your maid? He looked up from his phone. Because that's what you are. You think I'd introduce you as my wife. Her voice cracked. Then why did you marry me? He stood, mocking her, because you were quiet and obedient. Not for show. You look like a Sunday school auntie, not someone I'd take to events. I can learn. I can grow. With what money? You think style grows on trees. Tears welled in her eyes. So this is how you see me. He stepped closer, voice low and cruel. And that brother of yours? If he keeps coming here, I'll stop paying his school fees. Let him go back to the village. That night, Morayo didn't cry where he could see her. In the dark, she clutched her old notebook and wrote, "He sees me as weak, but I survived worse. For, say, I'll keep standing, even if it's on shaking legs." Before dawn, Morayo slipped out of the mansion wrapped in a scarf and long gown. She didn't tell Teo. Her cheek still burned from his words, but she needed fresh air. She needed Say. She boarded a Danfo to a coca, clutching her small purse like armor. The Unilag hostel was noisy as always. Buckets clanked. Boys shouted. But when Say opened the door and saw her face, his smile vanished. "Sis, what happened?" he whispered. She sat on his bed, scarf still on. Then she broke. Bit by bit, she told him everything. How Teo called her maid, mocked her, threatened to stop Say's school fees. How silence had become her daily meal. Say knelt before her, fists clenched. "You need to leave that house. You don't deserve this." "I can't," she said, voice trembling. "Why not?" She reached for his hand. "Because of you. If I leave, who will pay your fees? You've come too far. Say." His lips quivered. "Let me drop out. Let me." "No," she said firmly. "When our parents died, I gave up everything. But you must finish. That was my promise to them." Tears streamed down Say's cheeks. "One day, I'll buy you your dream car, your own boutique, a home where no one mocks you." Morayo smiled weakly. "That alone gives me strength." They sat together until the sun shifted. They talked about puff-puff days, about dreams they shelved. And for the first time in a long time, Morayo's laughter returned, quiet and cracked, but real. At 4 p.m., she returned home. Teo was waiting. "Where are the things you bought?" She froze. "No bag, no food. Who did you go and meet?" She stammered. I just... Slap. The sound echoed. Morayo dropped to the floor. She didn't scream. She didn't fight. She just whispered to herself, "I am not useless. I just came from the bottom." The bruise on Morayo's cheek hadn't faded. She covered it with powder and silence. As usual, she cleaned, cooked, folded Teo's clothes like she wasn't breaking. Then came the final blow. That afternoon, Teo walked into the kitchen, straight-faced. "I have a guess. My girlfriend. Make something good for her." Morayo blinked. "Girlfriend?" "Yes, and don't act surprised. This house isn't yours. So cook. Properly." Her fingers trembled around the pot handle. "No." Teo's eyes narrowed. "What did you say?" "I said no," she repeated, voice steady. "You brought another woman into our home and expect me to serve her? I've endured your insults, your silence, your slaps, but not this." Teo stepped closer. "You think you have mouth now? You call me local. You block my brother. You lie to your friends. Now you want me to cook for your side chick." She raised her chin. "I'm done being your doormat." His slap landed like a stone. "Get out of my house," he shouted. This time, she didn't fall. She didn't kneel. She didn't beg. She walked to the bedroom, packed her small bag, and left. No goodbye. No tears. Just steps, firm, forward, final. She took a keek to a coca, arrived at Say's door with dust on her shoes and resolve in her heart. He opened, startled. "Sis." Morayo sat gently on the bed. He slapped me. Again. For saying no, told me to leave. Say's jaw tightened. "You did the right thing. You're not a slave." Morayo nodded slowly. "But how will we survive? You're still in school." Say smiled. "I started working part-time at a hotel. It's not much, but we'll manage." Morayo exhaled, deep, shaky, free. For the first time in months, she felt safe, not because she was rescued, but because she finally rescued herself. 1 week after leaving Teo's house, Morayo woke up in Say's cramped hostel room with a spark in her chest. It wasn't joy, it was drive. She had a plan. "Say," she said, folding her scarf, "I want to start a small business. Clothes, shoes, things people can actually afford." Say lit up. "That's perfect. You've always had an eye for fashion. Do you have money to start?" Morayo nodded. "I saved some cash secretly while living with him. For emergencies." She smiled faintly. Turns out, escaping was the emergency. That weekend, she went to Balogun Market and bought basic inventory, unisex tees, simple sneakers, Ankara tops. She cleared a corner in the room and arranged her items neatly. "I'll call it Mora's Wares," she whispered, staring at a handwritten sign taped to the wall. Say told his hotel co-workers. Some classmates. A few bought, most just promised. The first week passed. Quiet. Then came the second. Morayo looked deflated one morning, counting unsold shirts. "Maybe I made a mistake." "Don't say that," Say said gently. "You didn't." That same day, at the hotel, Say moved slower than usual. His boss, Chief Jide Bakir, a calm, sharp-eyed man in a dyer, noticed. "Joe, you all right?" "It's my sister, sir. She's struggling. She started a business, but things are slow." Chief Jide leaned forward. "Tell her to come here tomorrow. Bring her goods." Say blinked. "Really, sir? Really? I respect people who build from the bottom." That night, Say rushed home. "Sister, get ready. He wants to see your wares." Morayo's eyes widened. "Are you serious?" She couldn't sleep. She repacked the clothes 5 times, practiced her greeting, prayed. The next morning, she entered the hotel office, heart pounding. Chief Jide looked up and smiled. "So you're Morayo?" She nodded, nervous. "You're stronger than he ever deserved." And just like that, her new life began. While Morayo quietly built her dream in a corner of Lagos, Teo's world unraveled. He was now with Kimi Okoro, Senator Okoro's daughter. Loud, glittery, entitled. She wore lace wigs like crowns and walked through life like a TikTok reel. One afternoon, she leaned into Teo's arms at his Banana Island living room. "Baby," she purred, "I've got a money-minting idea. Import and export. All we need is investment. You'll be bigger than Dangote." Teo's pride lit up. "How much?" "Billions," she whispered. "Use your houses as collateral. You're a big boy." The sugar in her voice masked the poison. The next week, Teo took a massive bank loan, signed documents in a sleek 6 office. The properties were his ticket, or so he thought. Days passed. No calls, no goods, no updates. He called Kimi's business partner, switched off, again and again. "Kimi, what's going on?" She yawned. "Relax. Business takes time." Weeks passed. Teo couldn't sleep. He stopped eating. The bank started calling, daily. "You played me," he screamed at Kimi one night. She scoffed. "You're a big man, right? Figure it out." She left that night with a designer bag and never came back. Teo sat in darkness, sweat dripping, rage boiling. One evening, he scrolled through Instagram. There, on a tagged photo, was Morayo, smiling beside Chief Jide Bakir at a charity gala. Elegant, peaceful, loved. The caption read, "True power is quiet." Teo's chest tightened. He threw his phone. "You think you've won?" he yelled at the silence. He called his mother. "She left me, Mama." Mama Ireti hissed. "Good riddance. Focus on your future." "She's now with a richer man. And you're the one that lost her. Don't blame me." For the first time, her words cut him too. That night, he picked up a gun. The next morning, Lagos woke to headlines. Banana Island businessman shoots girlfriend at Lekki Lounge. Arrested. Sentenced to life. 5 months after the trial, the world had moved on. Teo was behind bars, his mansion sold off. Madame Ireti, unable to bear the disgrace, collapsed in her living room. She died of a silent heart attack. But Morayo? She was rising. Her boutique, Mora's Wares, now had a proper shopfront in Ijimota. She sold out weekly, Ankara shirts, sleek jeans, affordable class. Customers came from Yaba to Festac. She posted online, learned the brand, and smiled more. And Chief Jide? He kept showing up, not with promises, but presents. He never rushed her. He'd sit in her store, talk about life, buy shirts he didn't need. He looked at her like she wasn't broken, like she was becoming. Say notice. Sis, he teased one day, are you catching feeling for your investor? Morayo smiled. Let's see where it goes. 2 years later, Say graduated from Unilag with first-class honors. His final year project won an award. He handed Morayo the certificate like it was a bouquet. You gave me this, sis. Now it's my turn to carry you. That same year, under a quiet canopy in Soyulir, Morayo and Chief Jide had a small traditional wedding. No socialites, no influencers, just music, love, and God. She wore burnt orange lace and carried her late mother's scarf. Chief Jide held her hand like it was something sacred. When they danced, Morayo didn't just sway. She floated. The girl they mocked for being too local had become the woman everyone admired. In her boutique, next to the cash register, sits a worn notebook. One page reads, "One day, I will smile again. I will dance again. I just have to survive until then." She did.